Good morning and welcome to today's session. Today we are going to discuss the continuity of complex valued functions in detail. The last class we have defined what is continuity and we have discussed the important properties of limit and continuity and summarized all these properties in 6 postulates. Here the first postulate says that limit of sum is equal to sum of limit. It is called a linearity property. The limit of product is equal to product of limit. Then limit of quotient is equal to quotient of individual limit, provided the limit of the denominator not equal to 0. If the denominator gives the limit 0, then this limit does not exist because it goes to infinity. It is infinite expression. Sum of two continuous function is also continuous function. Suppose we have two functions f and g, they are continuous, then their sum is also continuous. Then all polynomial functions are continuous. We have familiar with the expressions of polynomial equations in real analysis. In case of a complex function, it will be of the form f of z equal to some a naught, the constant term, plus a1 z plus second degree term a2 z square plus etc. plus an z raised to n, provided an not equal to 0, then it is called the nth degree polynomial. All polynomial expressions are continuous. Then the composition of two continuous functions is again continuous. Composition of two functions means f composition g or some g composition f. If f and g are continuous function, then their composition again continuous. Then we will start with some problems. Examine continuity of the following function at specified points. Here this function f of z is defined in terms of x and y. So we use z is equal to x plus iy expression. Then we think about the discontinuity of this function at the point z equal to 0, because this function f of z is defined in this way: x 2xy square divided by x square plus 3y raised to 4, except at z equal to 0. When z equal to 0, the denominator becomes 0. So except at z equal to 0, this function is a rational expression involving x and y. We know all rational expressions are continuous. So this function is continuous everywhere at z is equal to 0. So we are going to verify whether this function is continuous at z equal to 0, the origin. That is the point. So here I am using this path y square equal to mx. You know how we choose this path. Why I am choosing y square equal to mx here? Because when I put y square equal to mx in this expression, I got x square from the numerator. Then here I got m square x square in the place of y raised to 4. So I can take x square common from the denominator and we can cancel these x squares. So we got an expression containing m alone. In that case, the limit becomes an expression in terms of m, where m is the slope of this curve. So when m changes, this limit varies. So this function does not have a unique limit at the point z equal to 0. Hence this function is not continuous at the point. Because in order to establish continuity, we need two conditions. First one is limit z tends to whatever be the point, in general z naught, f of z exists. That means the limit is unique and it will not be infinity. The second point is this limit z tends to z naught f of z must be same as the value of that function at the point z naught. Here value of that function at z equal to z naught is 0, but the limit is not unique. Limit is not unique. Hence we can say that this function is not continuous at the point z equal to 0. Now the second problem, we have given this function in terms of z, not in terms of x and y. So it is better to choose z is equal to e raised to I theta into r, where r is the radius. Then real part of z square, we calculate real part of z square and mod z, then substitute here. We are going to examine whether this function is continuous at the origin z equal to 0. So I put z equal to r e raised to I theta, then is mod z is equal to root of r square cos square theta plus r square sin square theta. I can take this r square common, then cos square theta plus sin square theta, cos square theta plus sin square theta is equal to 1, and therefore root of r square, that is r. Then we calculate f of z. Real part of z square is r e raised to theta whole square, that is r square e raised to I2 theta. because e raised to I theta the whole square is equal to e raised to I theta into 2. The reason a raised to m the whole raised to n is equal to a raised to mn. Then what is e raised to I 2 theta? We know e raised to I theta is equal to cos theta plus I sin theta. That is Euler's formula. So e raised to I 2 theta. Instead of theta, you just put cos 2 theta. So cos 2 theta plus I sin 2 theta. So cos 2 theta plus I sin 2 theta. Then divide by r. When I take real part, I take the term which does not contain I, that is r square cos 2 theta. R square cos 2 theta by r. So this power r square, then this r cancelled. So I got r cos 2 theta. Now we are going to find out the limit z tends to 0 f of z is equal to. See here our z is equal to r e raised to I theta. So z tends to 0 means r tends to 0. There is no other possibility because e raised to I theta is nothing but cos theta plus I sin theta. This cos theta plus I sin theta never becomes 0 for any theta. And hence this when z tends to 0, r tends to 0. So the limit can be written in this form, r tends to 0 f of z. That is equal to limit r tends to 0. What is f of z here? R cos 2 theta. Now when r tends to 0, this becomes 0 into cos theta. Now you just look into this cos theta. Cos theta is a bounded function. That means cos theta never becomes infinity for or any higher value for theta. We know minus 1 less than or equal to cos theta less than or equal to 1. This is the basic condition for cos theta. Hence 0 into a finite quantity 0. So the limit is 0 for any z when tends to 0. Then also we have given f of 0 is equal to 0 in the problem. So this function is continuous because the limit is equal to 0 and value of that function is at z equal to 0 is 0. So this function is continuous. One important point is that suppose we got like this r into some sin theta by cos theta. Suppose r tends to 0, what happened? When r tends to 0, this becomes 0 into a quantity. 0 into a quantity. So sorry, this is cos theta. When this sin theta by cos theta is bounded, this sin theta by cos theta is not bounded because when theta becomes pi by 2, what happened? Sin pi by 2 is 1 but cos pi by 2 is 0. That becomes 1 by 0 when theta is equal to pi by 2. 1 by 0 does not exist. So it is actually infinity. Infinity into 0. Infinity into 0 does not exist. In that case, limit does not exist. So you should remember whenever there is r into an expression, you just look into that expression. That expression in theta will never become infinity. That will be finite. Here in this case, we got r into cos theta. So cos theta is always lies between minus 1 and 1. Instead of this cos theta, suppose you have sin theta, we got the same result because sin theta is lies between minus 1 and 1. Now we look into the next problem. Next problem is again in terms of z. So we can use z is equal to r e raised to I theta here. So it is very straightforward. We can easily solve it. We find out z square, r square cos 2 theta plus I sin 2 theta. Then imaginary part, we take the term containing I. So r square sin 2 theta. So imaginary part of z square by mod z square is r. So r square and r square get cancelled. Again we got sin 2 theta. But remember, when r tends to 0, this limit will remain as same, sin 2 theta. But it depends on theta. Value depends on theta because there is theta. So as theta varies, this limit is varying. So there is no unique limit. Therefore, this function is not continuous at the point z equal to 0. Why we call not equal to 0? Because we have given f of 0 is equal to 0. So the limit z tends to 0 f of z not is equal to f of 0. And hence again the second condition also not satisfied. This function is not continuous at z is equal to 0. The fourth problem, again this problem is given in terms of z. So we can use z is equal to r e raised to I theta. Then we calculate f of z f of z is equal to mod z square, that is r square, mod z is r, mod z square is r square. Imaginary part of 1 by z, imaginary part of 1 by z is r e raised to I theta. This r is a real number, it does not contain any I. So this r can be taken outside. So r and this square term will cancel. So r into 1 by e raised to I theta is e raised to, then there is an imaginary part e raised to minus I theta. Then what is e raised to minus I theta? That is cos theta minus I sin theta. Why? We know e raised to I theta is cos theta plus I sin theta. Then e raised to minus I theta means we just replace I by minus I. So we got cos theta minus I sin theta. Nothing else. Then we simplify this expression. I got r into minus r into sin theta. Why minus? Because when I take this imaginary part, I got this expression along with minus. So minus sin theta. Then there is an r in the outside. So r into minus sin theta. Then when z tends to 0, f of z, r tends to 0, this expression. When r tends to 0, this r 0, 0 into sin theta. As we stated earlier, this sin theta is a bounded function. Therefore, 0 into a bounded value, that gives 0. Again, we have given f of 0 is equal to 0. Value of that function at z equal to 0 is 0. So this limit is equal to value of that function at 0. So this function is continuous. The second condition is already satisfied. Hence this function is continuous at z equal to 0. Then problem number 5. Here also we have given the function in terms of z. So we make use of z is equal to r e raised to I theta. Then we rewrite f of z using this expression, that is equal to real part of z square r square cos 2 theta. We have verified what is real part of z square in this previous problem. Then mod z square is r square. Again r square and r square get cancelled. When the z tends to 0, this r tends to 0. So it does not contain r. So the limit is cos 2 theta. It is not a constant value. It varies with theta. Hence the limit does not exist. We verified here. Then as a practice problem and assignment, we have given 2 problems. Again, this function is given in terms of z. So you can use r is equal to z is equal to r e raised to theta. But the problem is here we don't have f of 0 because we are going to calculate limit at the point z equal to 0. So we need f of 0. In that case, you should write f of z as real part of z. For that calculation, you just put z is equal to x plus iy, because we are going to put z equal to 0. Z equal to 0 means x plus iy equal to 0. X equal to 0, y equal to 0. There is no sense of radius. That is why we convert it into Cartesian system. Just calculate f of 0. Okay. Real part of z. Real part of z is equal to x divided by 1 minus modulus of z is root of x square plus y square. Then what is f of 0? F of 0 is 0 divided by 1 minus 0, because 0 square plus 0 square is 0. Root of 0 is again 0. So we got 0 by 1, that is 0. 0 by 1, 0. So f of 0 is equal to 1 from this problem. Now we have to calculate limit using this polar form. Here there is no need of finding f of 0 explicitly, because it has given that at z equal to 0, this function takes the value 0. Okay. Again, there are 2 more problems. In that examples, you have given the function in terms of x and y. So you should choose path. Here it is better to choose y is equal to mx. In that case, we can take x square from the numerator and also x square from the denominator. They will get cancelled. We get an expression in terms of m. So the limit is not unique. Hence this function is discontinuous at the origin. Here the function is given in terms of z. So it is better to choose z is equal to r e raised to I theta. And also f of 0 is 0. It has given. When we substitute these values, we got real part of z in numerator, that is cos theta divided by modulus z is equal to r cos theta by r, that is we got cos theta. This cos theta varies with theta, hence this function does not have a unique limit at the point z equal to 0. So this function is discontinuous. So this is all about the basic problems and properties of continuity of complex valued function. So the important takeaways, what you are expected to take from these sessions. One, concept of concept, limit, its properties. It is very important. Then second point is continuity. How we examine the continuity of a function at z is equal to a point using complex theory. There are two conditions. The condition one, limit exists. That means the limit is unique and finite. Second point is limit. Limit of that function is equal to value of that function at the point z0. If limit z tends to z0 f of z is calculated, the limit should be is equal to value of that function z0. Then only this function is continuous. Then there are another two important remarks that you have to keep in mind while solving these problems. One is, if the problem is given terms of x, y, you should choose z is equal to x plus iy and select a path along which this function does not have a unique limit, like that. If you have given a function in terms of z, it is better to choose z equal to r e raised to I theta. There is also a one pitfall in that transformation z equal to r e raised to I theta. That means there is some 0 into a trigonometric expression will come when we put the limit. Then that theta expression will be finite. That is very important. Suppose you get sine theta by cos theta in theta expression, but this denominator cos theta becomes 0 when theta is equal to pi by 2. That creates a problem. That means the limit does not exist at the angle theta is equal to pi by 2. So you have to consider that part, that verification, as an important part of this examination of continuity at any point, z is equal to z or not. Okay, these are the key points in continuity of complex valued functions. The next session we will continue with differentiation, complex differentiation, how we will differentiate complex valued function. Okay, thank you.